It's 4 o'clock.
Whoa. Hey, Clyde. How you doing, man? Uh, can you, I gotta fix something. Hang on. Let me do this. Sound preferences. Internal mic. Great. Okay. Hey, Bruce. I just got back from about a 3K walk, and so I'm a little disheveled, but wanted to be back on time. Okay, great. Um, oh, hey, listen, I haven't. Hi, Barry. I haven't been following the Hot and Key coverage. Anything that's interesting or new? Let's see who's here. Bruce, Joe. How is it? Joseph or Joe? David. Tech Auto File. We say howdy here. Howdy. Hey, Kurt. Barry. Let's see, Mike. Hi, Mike. Okay, I hope that's good. We'll get going. Uh, oh, okay, Clyde. Thank you. Hi, Rothit. Okay. All right, you guys. Let's see if I Hod Key is. I call it Hod Key. It's probably pronounced Hokey Dokey or something like that. So sorry about that. Hey, Javier. Um, okay. All right. Here's what I'd like to talk about is what about the kinds of watches. I was thought, well, let's put them on a hierarchy, and let's start with the most affordable, the standard horology, and any ones you think would be a no, Mike. Clyde's got a mind of his own. He's a very sharp dude. Anyway, let's talk about this. What would be if you guys could do this? Put one watch from standard horology that you'd like to have. If there aren't any, put none. So let's start with that and get an idea. Hodinky, okay, Dave. All right. All right, let's see. Tudor Black Bay, okay. Great example. There are some Tudor Black Bays that are strong horology. Okay. JLC is high horology. How about standard horology? This is the stuff that JLC, Barry, that's a JLC, those are all high horology. If there's any watch, just a single watch that you'd like, that is standard horology. Let me give you one here. This is a what is it? Maurice Lacroix. This is a Maurice Lacroix. Let me see if I can get the light right. Anyway, so Maurice Lacroix, for the most part, well, they have both. There's half strong horology and half what I call standard horology. Standard horology is using a sort of an inexpensive movement. This particular watch has Jacquet 736. I don't know how they stand as far as that's concerned, but I got a great deal on it and a good price. So let's see what you got. Baume Mercier. Yeah, Kurt, that's a good example of one. And they also have watches with this kind of this Jacquet 736 in it. And so I never liked them until I found that out. Now I like Baume Mercier. Hey, now come on, Bruce, come on. Listen, Bruce, I'm gonna strap a $20 bill to your wrist, and then you can have a good resale value. How's that? I won't give you a hard time about those. All right. Baume Mercier. Now, Omega Speedmaster is strong horology. I realize some of them have ETA movements, but then they have that Mont Blanc. That's a Mont Blanc tends to be strong horology, especially those with but they a lot of more standard horology. Rotati, that might not be a bad one. I want an Explorer that does count. Explorer would be strong. Favorite watch is a Tag Carrera 187. Hi, Lionel. We, Lionel, yeah. Okay. Ball watches. Javier, they are some very interesting watches with ball watches. What are some other ones? Chronoswift, Clyde, that's another one that's really cool. They have some wonderful regulators and some other things. You know, the thing about Chronoswift, though, is that for what's in them and everything, they're a tad expensive, but that's a great choice. Let's see what else you got. Oh, Omega, no. Blue shirt, Buddha. Okay, Mike, STD horology. What is, Mike, what is MOTM? I don't know. What do you think of Seiko Presage? I can handle it. I tell you, the Seikos I like, and I got nothing to get the Presage, are the Alpine. I like that a lot. And I like I think it's called the 5 or something. It was one of the early ones. They did a whole lot of stuff way back when. They were really early and they did some cool things. I like those. The other ones are like a lot of watches. I don't like them or dislike them. I just haven't paid that much attention to them. Or a 65. There you go, Joe. That's a nice one. I like that. G-Shock. Now, Barry, aren't all G-Shocks, do they have mechanical G-Shocks? I was looking at G-Shocks the other day, and so I was sort of wondering if they have them mechanical. Mike, Man on the Moon tends to be strong horology. All you guys, that's strong horology. What about Oris? Yeah, Oris in general is a good one. One of the things with Oris has certain ones. I think they start with their movement called the 111, 112, 113, and 114 are all in-house high horology. Really, really nice movements. Those things I think they have like a 5-day charge in them. Hey, Tom, how you doing? Good morning to New Zealand. Okay, let's see what else. See, because Carrera Pan Am race. Okay, hey, listen. I like Morgan race cars, and I think Oris has a deal with them. They have, I believe, though, they put their in-house movement in it. Steve, okay, Kermit the Frog. Now, Kermit's a strong horology. What we're trying to do is starting off, okay, we're going to do it through levels. And the first level is standard horology. And I'm trying to get some ideas. Glycine, Hamilton, Tissot. There's this new Tissot that I really like. It's got an ETA 6498 in it. And they tell you that's what it is. And it's under $1,000. So that's the kind of, if you're going to have I've got nothing against ETAs at all. A lot of people, I don't like ETAs. It's not I don't like them. I think that somebody is, paying $5,000 for an ETA that really doesn't have much else going for it. That I probably think that's a bit too much. Now, I had that strange Christian Vanderclaw, the Sarah 74, which I happen to like. I've always liked it. And but I know it has a soap rod in it, which is I think the A11 is a or A10, whatever it is a clone of one of the ETAs. It's one of the popular automatics they have. Now that thing's $5,000, but you're paying for, I think, is the Christian Vanderclaw moon phase system. Okay. Hey, they got a New Zealand Starbucks. That sounds cool. Hi, Renee, Damasco, Germany. Okay, yeah, that's a cool watch. My tag and entry tier. Boy, different Tag Heuers. Tag Heuers has got a range. You realize that one year Tag Heuer won the Grand Prix at they won, it was called the Aiguille d'Or, the grand prize. And that thing was $150,000 Tag Heuer. I think they made one of them for the prize, and then they went back to making what they make. Um, Deteriorating should hinge on movement inside. Forbin, you keep asking the best questions, and that's a really good question too. I think that I think so. That's my opinion, but it's you might have a better, smarter opinion than I have on that. If you take, for example, if you take an Omega and then you have an Omega with a uh, 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 George Daniels escapement in it. That's sort of one of those borderline things. But I would say, yeah, that's strong horology because I don't know how many other people other than Omega are using that Daniels escapement. What do they call it? I forgot the name of it. I forgot what they call it. Shinola. Yeah. What about Shinola, Clyde? Yeah, Joof Magoof. Yeah, they are pretty scattered. Earlier today, Forbin Colossus had mentioned about the lack of focus in Longines, but it sort of led me to thinking way more, I think, than than he had in mind. But that's what about a focus? Some of these brands are over focused, under focused. It's like a very difficult kind of thing to hang on to. I mean, some of these watch companies now are, beside quartz and good mechanical line. Now they're thinking, well, we better get a smartwatch out there, and so they've been producing smartwatches as well. Okay, Geneve, Ruthet, Geneve. Yeah, tell me about Geneve. I don't know too much about that brown. I've heard of it. Aren't they more of a vintage kind? Coaxial, that's it, Bruce. Thank you. I don't know why I keep forgetting coaxial and remember George Daniels. Go figure. 20th Century Boy, Vostok Amphibia. That's not a bad, that really isn't a bad standard horology. Yeah, I know they're really cheaply made, but still, they're sort of an interesting watch. I got a Vostok on my wrist right now. Okay, and you're in Starbucks. If you can afford Starbucks and a Vostok, you're doing well. Okay, Tudor. Yeah, Tudor's one of those ones on the border. Well, actually, Forbin, the deal I think was when Omega and Tissot were acquired. They made a decision at the time, and this may have been before, or after, or during they became part of Swatch. And the decision was that Omega was going to be the higher level, and Tissot was going to be the lower level. And that pretty much seems to me what happened. Universal Geneve, most beautiful, but gosh darn expensive. Well, that's Rich. We're trying to move. Okay, Bulova. All right. Now let's bump it up to strong horology. Now I realize if you're a Rolex person, you can just put Rolex down and see what everybody else has. But what I found in strong horology that I really, really like, as I mentioned, beside the Rolex Prince, I also like that Omega Speedmaster with the Lamania movement in it. That's a good one. And I like the best of all is the Harboring 2 Doppel. Doppel Felix. That's a wonderful one. Okay, there are all the Rolex guys. Louis Manet, you got to be careful about them, tech audiophile. I like the looks of Louis Manet, but inside, not so much. That's a brand that I had high hopes for. I thought, oh boy, they're going to be great, but Genta's first design came out with UG. All right, Omega. Okay. Hi, Mike. Blanc Pain strong. Mike, Mitch. I generally consider Blanc Pain to be a high horology. They're sort of on a lower border of it, but their stuff is pretty neat. Oak and Oscar. Oak and Oscar though. Tom, I like Oak and Oscar, but they're not using in-house movements. Glashudi Original. Yes, that's yeah, that's sort of one of those. That's on the other end of the border, but that's another one. Where do you fill in Parmigiani? Parmigiani, they're sort of spread across high horology, pretty much so. Panerai is at the lower end, and a lot of their stuff is in standard horology. Bulova 1940 is one of the vintage watches I inherited my favorite uncle. Pretty, but I don't kid myself, it's high quality. Groenfeld, my God, Ken. Groenfeld is like exceptional horology. That's like those are great watches, but I don't think they'd come under the sort of second tier of a watch. Use it to fill stuffed crust pizza. Okay. Lang Howell. Clyde, come on now. Don't do that. All right. And beside, if you're talking about A Longa, it is high horology. We're talking about now just strong horology. This is where you have your Zenith. Zenith is, to me, is a great overlooked, one of the best strong horology watches around. Great deal, great price, both for their elite movements and their El Primero movements. Okay, 321 was Laminia. Way to go. That's true. Love that. That's the one I like too. IWC, man, they sold their soul, and they're trying to get it back with advertisement rather than really good stuff. IWC does have some good movements. It is made in-house, but what bothers me about IWC is they don't say, okay, this is they could even call it a Val Ju 7750 instead of an ETA 7750. But that's what they're using as the base, and they got some phony baloney name for it. That really is something as collectors. We're collectors. People ought to, listen to us because we're the ones that spend the money. Good grief, we're not have to put up with some advertising agency and saying, oh, well, this is what we are, and believe it, nor get treated badly by service that they have for us. Entry level JLCs, Tom, I think, yeah, this is a good point. This is one of the things that we got to do someday is take a single brand and say, look, these are, they stuff ETAs in these, so these belong here. This is this level, this is this level, and this is this level within a single brand. What had been done before, we're using sort of glosses for an entire brand. And they make it difficult because they're not exactly forthcoming with this. Now, when you get up at the tippy top up there, you're okay. But it's this Mr. In-Betweens. I got my Kalpa on today. I love my Kalpa. It's his in-house, handmade. Okay. IWC, there's mostly ETA. Rothit, I think you're right. If you look at the sales figure for IWC and you look at the movements, I'll bet most of them have the base of that. Cartier tank is epic. God knows what Cartier puts in their movements. That's another company that really makes me mad. On the one hand, they got this model pusher that's got a THA movement in it, and then they got all of this other junk stuff. And the newer stuff, what was their name? They have what they're doing now with Cartier. Cartier under, I forgot her name, Kathy something, is this She won the award for the tip top watchmaker a few years ago. Um, I'm here toying with this. Oh, hey, I'm not toying with you. No, I wouldn't toy with you. I'm having a discussion with you guys. Come on. Renault made better tanks in 1970. Okay. I think it was 1940 they made better tanks. They just didn't know how to use them. Okay, Longines. Longines is entry level. Okay, let's bump it up. Yeah, not entry level, but Longines I think is a good standard horology. Okay, now this is strong horology. We got Rolex, we got Zenith, we've got Omega, Harboring 2. Um, oh, let's see what else. Okay, any other ideas for that have a good scene? Okay, see ya, Tom. Give my regards to Starbucks, one of my favorite meeting places. Um, is Clyde? Are you bullying people? You know, we got a corner over here for you. Uh, oh, all right, yeah, yeah, that's okay. Um, all right, so now let's go to high horology. This is where we've got sort of at the top of high horology. You have watches like the Holy Trinity, Vacheron Constantin, Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, A. Longa Sunda. It's close, I think. Um, Grand Seiko. Yeah, probably Grand Seiko would be there too. For I think in high horology. Um, uh, see ya, howdy. Let's see. Audemars Piguet. Okay, combat bacon. Okay. Mike, quit hitting yourself. All right. Baume Mercier. Now, Barry, Baume Mercier, where they're Baumatic, I think that is more something that moves them into strong horology, but not exactly high horology. I just don't think they're there yet. FP Journe, no, FP Journe is up in exceptional horology. My God, they make under 900 watches a year. Chopard, Chopard, yes, Chopard's Gizmo. That's a good one. Breguet's, that's another good one. I've rediscovered Breguet. I really like the that traditional that they have. Piaget's another good one too. Van Cleef. Oh my God, that is Van Cleef and Arpez. The movements in those things are just unbelievable because most of them are by Agenhor, which is that is Ulysse Nardin. Yeah, Ulysse Nardin is really coming up. Beauvais is boy, Beauvais is one of those brands that's on the border between exceptional horology and high horology. They're on both boats, Javier. I love Beauvais. Where's my Beauvais? It's in the case. Um, Gerard Perregaux. Gerard Perregaux, yeah. Gerard Perregaux is really at the bottom of high horology, but I do think they deserve to be in high horology. They're very interesting watches. You know, another one that nobody's mentioned is Jacques Dro. That's another neat watch. I think it's even though it's part of Swatch, like Breguet and Blancpain, it's a cool one. Eterna, boy, Eterna, they make the movements, don't they, Forbin? When you mention Eterna, I've seen them in different kinds of watches. Now, Clyde, come on now. It's Agen Hor. And it's quite the opposite of that. Jean-Marc Viderec was the first winner of the watchmaker of the year. He's really a cool guy too. So don't say nasty things about him. Creedor. I don't know about Creedor. I don't know that much about them. Aren't they part of Seiko, I think. Wrong. Rich Buddy, Ulysse Nardin, yeah, that is one. Roger Dubuis is one I like a lot. They got some really nice ones. Breguet is way better than Droz. Well, um, hold on. RGM, Kurt, RGM is really interesting watches. They're a good example of a watch company on two tiers, except they're not. He's got, on the one hand, he's got this. I think it's called 801 or something like that. That in-house, really beautiful watch that he does. It's really high horology, beautifully finished, and everything else. Plus the enamel finishing on the dial, and then he's got stuff that you'd be the first to tell you it's got an ETA in it. Alexander Nesson, boy, I don't know that one, Renee. I'm see is Alexis of Seiko. Okay, all right. Love Breguet, yeah, me too. I tell you that traditional Breguet is really a cool one. I hadn't. I sort of was one of those things that's seen but unnoticed. Piaget Forbin, that's a good one. Let me see what else we got here that you like. Lang and Hein is definitely exceptional horology, believe me. H. Moser at sea. That is sort of a combination high and exceptional. The kinds of things, the thing about Lang and Hein, first of all, there is no Hein. I think it was the first year they were in business together, and then Hein left and went back to Glashütte. But Marco Lang is a real designer and everything in that thing. We met him at the Watch Time show. Guy's brilliant guy. He really is. And they only make a few hundred watches a year there, and they're really some watches. That's obviously high on my list. Moser at sea. Moser. H. Moser has probably one of the most outstanding perpetual calendars around. Really, that has got to be one of the best deals that you can find on H. Moser. One of the things that they're starting to go upward. Okay, well, a Seagull. Clyde, in your collection, I think a Seagull might bring it up some, sort of adds some class to it. Zomo, Grilbo Force, and I'm saying this wrong. I'm sorry, Barry. Grilbo Force, I think, is sort of exceptional horology. Frederick Constant with its in-house movement would fall in. No, Frederick Constant would be an example of a strong, for the most part, but uninspired horology. The thing that gets me about Frederick Constant is that they use gold plating. I mean, it's sort of like, it just, I don't know. It's like painting flames on a good car, something. Chrono Swiss. All right. Hey, now listen, I'm the one that is, I got the Seagull here. And so, but you got to make your own. Well, you don't have to, you can pick them up, but those are watchmakers. Patek Philippe, yeah. Spring Drive, does that make sense? Spring Drive, one of the things, if I'm not mistaken, Mike, about Spring Drives, and I could be mistaken, I think that they sort of up the frequency a bit, and I tend to sort of go for lower frequency. Okay, so let's talk about exceptional horology. Which ones would you really like to have, and try to get some kind of idea of that? Probably the most, I mean, if you want to, at the very tippity top would be Philippe Dufour and Roger Smith, but they make so few. I mean, you can't even get takes you years to get a Roger Smith. I mean, if it might take up to 10 years. When I was in the shop with the boutique in New York the other day with um, at the FP Jorn boutique, I was told that just that one store has a waiting list of 93 people for the Chronomet Blue, and that's that's a long line. Here's a watch. I think they sell them for like $22,000. You got 90 people lined up. And then if you go into the used market, you find them jacked up. They're doing a thing that the Rolex likes to call premiums. But those aren't the dealers. Those are only the people who are the owners. Okay, George Daniels. Yeah, boy. Yeah, you're right. George Daniels. I'd love to have a George Daniels. I don't consider Richard Mille to be exceptional horology. High horology, yes. MB&F is exceptional. Hublot is, I think, high horology. Hublot is a lot better than a lot of people give it credit for. They do have some of them that are ETAs lower down. De Bethune, yes, Ruth, that's another really good one. Okay. Okay. I'll. All right. Okay. MB and F make outrageous watches, which are very ugly. Well, there's the Eskimos have a wonderful term for a lot of times you see a newborn baby and they're really ugly, but nobody says that. And the Eskimos have a term that they simply say "how baby," uh, which is like the same thing with an MB and F. Some of the MB&F scenes I've seen, Porsche Maven, they have some beautiful watches. I was looking at one, I forgot the name of it, but it's really cool. It's got a lot of the movement on the top and then behind, but it's not one of those skeletonized ones. We consider a certain department of Patek Philippe. No, I got to tell you why too. Patek Philippe, let me give you an example. There was a watch that was made not long ago that was a perpetual calendar, and they used 9 parts for the perpetual calendar. I mean, to get a really honest to God perpetual calendar. Patek Philippe did one, it was 187 parts. Hey, Kaz. So, Kaz, we're talking about exceptional horology watches that you'd like to have. Have you seen Kehuno? I haven't seen those DGB. I will look at them though. MB&F have great technology and high horology bitten cases, which are always way too thick. Well, they do have thick cases. I agree with that. But boy, what they put in them is really amazing. Audemars Piguet is a good, high horology and with a long history, but I don't think they're exceptional. I mean, to be exceptional, you got to have a lot of things. And one of the things is it's like the difference between buying an original by a Picasso or a Rembrandt and buying a print. And that is a huge difference. This is why when there's a limited edition, if it's limited because they only can produce so many because of the high standards that they have or the high level of skill that it takes, that's the kind of limited I want to have. I don't want one because somebody, some bean counter in the front office said, hey, we can make more money if we have these just a certain kind. This is why I was just a tiny little disappointed with Laurent Ferrier when he came out with that British racing green. I think they're making about 20 of them or something. I mean, come on, how can it be limited if the only difference is they painted one green instead of the other colors? Okay, how about Creedor? I don't think so. Abdul, I don't think Creedor, not exceptional horology. Okay, Okay. Oh, Moritz Grossman, Michael, I love those watches. They are though very much high horology, not exceptional. Barbara Hutter or Christine Hutter, who is the head of Moritz Grossman, did something I think is very important and make those watches so good. She incorporated a lot of the original Maurice Grossman, who's been gone for 100 years, into the watches, which makes them, I think, as good as they are. AC3 has 19 words for bankruptcy. There's a lot of that. Um, okay. Autumn Pure, yeah, Kaz, yeah, that's they got a lot of neat. Maurice Grossman. One of the problems that I see with Maurice Grossman is they are way too expensive. I, to me, they're just crazy expensive. Now, yeah, look who's talking, but they're still very expensive. Constantine Chaikin Joker watch. That's a nice one. Those watches. I really like those a lot, but I think they're. Oh, Kaz, you have one for about 10K. That's not so bad. I didn't realize stuff I was looking at. At least the stuff I liked was, it seemed to be 30,000 and above. So 10K is not so bad. Okay, watchtowers, hoisted dial with exposed mechanics. I'm not crazy about those either. See, one of the things we really gotta, I think it's important for me to understand as well as everybody else, is that if we don't like something because we don't like, I'm not crazy about skeletonized one. People love skeletonized ones. Certain people do, and okay, and they can have them. I don't have to like them, but I wouldn't ban them or anything like that. Hey, Redskins. The what's the other thing? I like watches that I can see the movements, because to me the most important thing about a watch is an interesting movement. And if a watch has an interesting movement, I really like it. That is why I like that Rolex Cellini Prince so much. It's got a beautiful movement. I just really like that a lot. Also happen to like hand wound better too. Okay, let's see. Oh, my time is up. I get a lot at a half hour, so I gotta go now. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming. Love to see your opinion. Oh yeah, Kaz, a Beauvais dual face. That's yummy too. Okay, we'll see you next time. And until then, Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.